as you know, E3 was this past week, and I was there, and I had seriously the best time ever. Now, first of all, I will say I was a little bit disappointed because I think my expectations for this year's E3 was a little bit too high, because it was our first E3 that we had after all the next-gen consoles were coming out, or have come out, so I was expecting, like, my mind to be blown with all the next-gen games. It really wasn't blown, so to say. Maybe next year's E3. Everybody's kind of getting the feel for the industry and how the next-gen consoles are going. Anyways, I had a super awesome time. The first day, I just kind of had the day to chill and see what I wanted to see. I did have 2 press appointments. I made one for Bethesda and one for EA. But also, Wednesday and Thursday, I was going to be filming for Turtle Beach all day. And I had already had the schedule from them, so I knew what I was going to be seeing. So I made appointments on Tuesday to go see stuff that I didn't have appointments for already. So my first appointment was EA, and I went straight to the Dragon Age booth. They had a playable demo, not playable by us. You know, they had a developer there or something, and they played through what they wanted to show us. And it looks beautiful. Like, just the one map that he started playing off in at first, he said that the world in that just one map was bigger than the play area of all of Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2. This game is going to be massive. Of course, he talked about the new skill trees and the new way that you're able to, you know, general your party and tell them how you want them to fight or how you want them to behave in battle and stuff. All of that was there, and was there tenfold. Of course, we saw some characters that we already knew were coming back. I thought they showed a little bit too much of storyline in one of the missions they showed, and I was like, no, I don't want to see the spoilers. But I did love what I saw. They didn't touch upon at all on the relationship mechanics in Dragon Age Inquisition, which disappointed me because I felt that was one of the huge things that was a disappointment in Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age Origins, as you know if you've played it, the game kind of had like a whole other mini game of the relationships and the relationships your party members had with each other, whether they, you know, they enjoyed being in the party together or they hated each other, like Alistair and Morgan, and then your relationships with them, and then their side missions that opened up because of your relationship with them. So I'm hoping it's back for Dragon Age Inquisition, but yeah, they didn't touch upon it. After that, I made my way over to the Sims 4 booth and their playable demo. Again, not playable by us, but a dev walked us through, and I really actually gotta say I was super surprised. I'm a huge Sims player. I love The Sims. Don't really know many people who don't love The Sims, and I really didn't see how they'd be able to progress it. Like, I went into it going, yeah, it's The Sims, it's gonna be The Sims, what else is new? But they really surprised me. You're gonna be able to like drag and drop stuff from the, I can't remember what it's called, but like the Sims Marketplace where other users will make stuff and then you can add it to your game. You're going to be able to drag and drop it from there. You're also going to be able to actually drag and drop from there just rooms. If you're like, I like my house, but I need a better kitchen. You can just go into the marketplace and drag and drop the pre-made kitchen onto your house anywhere you want it to be. Now when you're creating your sim, there's no more sliders. If you want her boobs to be bigger, I will. You just grab her boobs, yeah, and then pull them. Or if you want them to be fatter, you grab their waist and then you just pull it, or shrink it, and pull it, and shrink it. It's awesome! The dragging mechanics is way better than the stupid sliders, so that way you can get much more precise sim creation. But that also is in your build mode as well. For your walls, you don't just need to click on something and drag it and, you know, put where you want your walls to be. You just grab one of the walls and drag it and the room will expand with it. All of that definitely makes The Sims more of an intuitive experience, I think. My favorite thing about The Sims, of course, is the build mode, the design mode, and the character creation mode. Because I like to build the best and most trickiest murder dungeons in my Sims games. After EA, I also went and checked out Bethesda's booth, and I got to actually have hands-on play with The Evil Within. This is a game that I was really looking forward to, and I am still looking forward to it, since I got to check out just a viewable demo at last year's E3. The Evil Within is definitely scary. They've nailed the survival horror feel and the feeling of just impending doom and scary and just darkness and this just really heavy feeling as you play it. But where the game falls apart is actually with the controls. It doesn't control like original Resident Evil where it's tank controls. They're just, the overall controls are just really sluggish and not very responsive. I fought with the controls more than I fought any of the enemies on screen. I just felt that the controls were the major downfall of this game. And with a survival horror, or basically with any game, but some games are more forgiving, you've got to have those controls. They've got to be perfected. You can't have shitty controls in a survival horror game. You're trying to survive horror, and if the horror is the controls, you've missed the mark. So, I don't know. I'm still gonna get it when it comes out, but yeah, I was really, really disappointed with The Evil Within. They were also showing off another game. Oh god, I can't remember what it was called, but that's because I had no interest in it at all. Yeah, I'll put it down right here. It'll say the name of the game. It was kind of like this, I don't know, Civil War, steampunk map where team-based multiplayer deathmatch kind of thing. I don't know, that's just not my kind of game. And then I went and checked out Nintendo. They had this huge, you know, Smash Brothers tournament going on. We could play in the tournament, but then if you did well, you could get up on the stage and you could win prizes, and that was cool. It's Smash Brothers, love Smash Brothers, we'll definitely get it. And then of course the Sony booth had The Order, which I never actually got to see, which broke my heart because I really wanted to see that. I'm looking forward to that game so much. Wanted to be able to check it out, didn't get to. They were showing Little Big Planet 3, we'll definitely buy that. And then of course there was like the Doomsday hallway where it was like Sony, Microsoft, and they had their big signs that were facing each other, and you could go in the middle of the hallway and be like, which one's gonna win? And then Microsoft had Fable Legends, which I didn't get to play either, but I did stand there and creepily watch over someone's shoulder when I had like 10 minutes to spare. That game looks really good. Huge fan of Fable, but I'm still kind of nervous because we know what happened last time those guys tried to make any type of co-op or multiplayer in Fable. It was Fable 3, and it was a disaster. It was probably one of the worst designed co-op gameplay options ever. So I'm a little on the fence, but I will still get it because it's Fable. I just don't know if I can trust them with a co-op experience yet. Sunset Overdrive was there, which of course looks amazing. That game has got a lot of hype behind it. I definitely think it's going to deliver. So then on Wednesday, I got up super early and started filming with Turtle Beach, which, let me just go ahead and say, this is an unsponsored pimpage. Turtle Beach was awesome. They were one of my favorite companies to work for so far at E3. They were super well organized. They were a lot of fun. Like, these guys understood how work can be fun, but also how to make work fun. I don't know how to explain it, but Turtle Beach was amazing to work with, and I really hope I get to work with them again because I had the best time ever. Anyways, they hit the show floor running with me on Wednesday. We went to 2K first thing in the morning, which was what I was just like drooling to go play because they had Evolve and the Borderlands pre-sequel. Oh my god. Okay, let's start with Evolve because I got a lot to say about Borderlands. Evolve was awesome. I didn't exactly know what I was expecting. I was told it was Left 4 Dead but with a monster, so I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I actually don't think it was like Left 4 Dead. Sure, it was 3 players against a monster, or was it 4 players against the monster? 4 players against the monster, and the monster was a person. It was awesome. I played a full match. My team won. I was the trapper. So there are the different classes of characters, and my character was the one that was main objective was trapping the monster so that the other characters, like the heavy assault character or something, could do, you know, damage, but I could also do damage. And I also had this little pet named Daisy who looked like this weird pig dinosaur thing, and she would track the monster, and we could follow, you know, where she was going to find where the monster was. I loved how different each class was. There was, of course, like the medic class, but then there was the heavy assault class, and we all needed each other. It wasn't just that, oh look, I'm a trapper and I'm gonna lay traps and we're gonna run off on our own and do our own thing. The game was so heavily supported by team play. You had to work together, and your classes worked the best when you were working together and knew how to play your class's character. It got really close. Like, we barely beat the monster at the very end, but we did. We won. It's a game I'm one of the games I'm most excited for this year. But then I got to go play and have hands-on time with Borderlands pre-sequel. Oh my god, I might actually have to make a full video about this rant. I am like the biggest Borderlands fan ever. I really liked playing Borderlands pre-sequel, but there were some killers in it that really got me, and it was the fact that you've got this constant oxygen meter that's running down, and you always have to be looking for an oxygen refill station. That just kind of killed it for me. You don't put that kind of thing in an open world game. You're not going to support exploring if I'm constantly having to be worrying about where my next refill station is. But other than that, I did have a good time being back into the world of Borderlands. If you want to hear my full rants on what I thought about Borderlands pre-sequel, and I go deeper into some of the pros and cons of, you know, my time with the game at E3, then keep checking out for that video because that will be soon. So after checking out Evolve and Borderlands, I had actually like an interview set up, and I was so nervous about in this interview, you guys. It was with 3 of my all-time favorite voice actors from 3 of my favorite video games. It was Nolan North, who is, of course, you guys know, the voice of Nathan Drake in Uncharted. Sexy. Also, I was interviewing Troy Baker, who is the voice of Joel from Last of Us and Booker DeWitt from Bioshock Infinite. These guys do tons of other work elsewhere, but I'm just saying what they've done most recent. And John DiMaggio, who is the voice of Bender from Futurama, but also Marcus Fenix in Gears of War. So you can understand my extreme nervousness. And then I found out I'm going to be interviewing all 3 of them at the exact same time. But I had the best time interviewing them. They were hilarious. So funny. In fact, I just kind of wanted to watch them all talk to each other because they knew each other and they were all hilarious and they were playing off of each other and their sense of humor styles all gel really well, and I just had a great time. I'd interviewed Troy Baker before years and years ago when he was doing Final Fantasy, and so I'd known him through that. I had a great time. Those guys were so much fun. Then I also got to check out Alien Isolation, which absolutely was amazing. It exceeded my expectations. We haven't had a very good run with Alien games. They haven't been good at all. So of course Isolation's announced and I'm like, another company's gonna try their hand. No, Isolation is everything I've wanted an Alien game to be. It is terrifying, it is scary, the xenomorph is, oh my god, beautiful in this game. But just the sound design and the graphics and how random everything is. I played it and died within my first 2 or 3 minutes. Even though I had a flamethrower, I was definitely not even matched power with the xenomorph. That thing, it was fast, it was smart, and it was scary. When it would attack you, and it was like, I'm gonna penetrate you with my little extender mouth. And it was terrifying. That game, several times it startled me so much that I would do kind of like a little yelp jump. I could hear the xenomorph in the vents. That is the xenomorph around? And a game hasn't done that to me in forever. So Alien Isolation also jumped up in my excitement for this year of game releases. It was seriously everything an Alien game should be. And then the last day, I was filming with Turtle Beach again, and we were shooting a bunch of interviews and dev interviews at different booths and stuff. We had an appointment at Activision and checked out Destiny, which most of you guys have already played, you know, the alpha that was out this past weekend. It actually, everything I'd already seen of it didn't prepare me for what I actually got. I still was kind of expecting an open world Halo, but that's not what I got. And a lot of people have been expecting kind of like a Borderlands feel. That's not it either. It definitely feels more like WoW, but in the Halo universe. And the enemies are carbon copy Halo enemies, but the world doesn't feel Halo to me. At least in Destiny, the alpha, they only had 1 map running that you could play. And then there's like the main HUD, which is the tower, and that's where the social main HUD is. That's where your class stores are. That's where everybody is. It's not in different missions within the world. There's crafting and little jobs, and it's just, it's MMO goodness, everything you love about MMO. Destiny is. And it's all within, you know, the Halo universe. And I'm already going to be part of the beta when that opens up for pre-orders, so love Destiny. And then later they had another kind of group interview set up for me, which I was super excited about, also nervous, but also super excited. And that was with one of the sound design directors at Gearbox, the guy that does Claptrap's voice, the girl that does the voice of Tiny Tina, and the guy that does Handsome Jack's voice. And he's actually really handsome in real life. So I got to interview all of those guys all at once as well, and they were a lot of fun to talk to. So those are my 2 highlights of the show, was getting to interview, you know, Nolan North, Troy Baker, and John DiMaggio for Turtle Beach. And also, of course, getting to interview 3 of my favorite characters, not just in Borderlands, but in video game history, and then a sound director from Gearbox for Turtle Beach as well. That was like I checked out a bunch of other games. None of it really made huge impacts on me, like Borderlands and Evolve and Sims and Dragon Age and Alien Isolation. Those were the games of the show for me. So yeah, what are you guys excited about? What did you see or hear from all the press conferences and E3 that really excite you guys for this year or even next year? What are some of the big games that were announced or shown that you guys are the most excited for? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching.